All right. We just came off a huge event day. It was Jake Paul versus Ben Askren. My God, Jake Paul knocks out Ben Askren, and this event was nuts. I mean, there were musical performances. Ice Cube, Too Short. You got Justin Bieber, Snoop Dogg doing commentary, and it's an uncensored sporting event. You have people just like screaming profanity. You have Snoop Dogg saying, "Get my motherfucking money, Jake Paul," because he betted that $2 million that Jake Paul would win. Dana White put $1 million on. He was kidding. He said, "I bet $1 million that Ben Askren would win." Ben Askren got knocked out in the first round, and Ben Askren made $500,000 from that. Jake Paul has proved that he is for real, man. Only 24 years old. His bodyguard, Shadow, died 10 days ago. He was trying hard to get through this week, and man, unbelievable performance. He knocked out freaking Ben Askren. Ben Askren just said, he made a tweet saying, "Sorry, world." It's kind of sad, man. Like, all my favorite fighters, all the people I want to win have been losing left and right. Kevin Holland loses twice. Stipe Miocic gets knocked out by Francis Ngannou. Israel Adesanya loses to Jan Blachowicz. There's so many things. Like, the only ones last year was Habib wins and retires, so there's no risk of him losing. But this upcoming week, you got Kamaru Usman versus Masvidal. I'm rooting for Usman, but I don't know, anything can happen. You got Tony Ferguson versus Beneil Dariush. If Tony wins, that is great, but if Beneil wins, that's great for him because that would put him on a 9-fight win streak. If Kamaru wins, that'll be a 14-fight win streak. I don't want these people to lose their streaks. But what an event, man. Jake Paul. The first event was some billionaire. I don't even know their names, man. It was like some guy facing a musician on that Jake Paul fighting event. And the boxer won. Took out Raekwon, I think that was the name. But yeah, that was what a crazy day. Jake Paul wins. There is pyro. The set looks amazing for Triller. Production, camera angles improved. They had comedian Pete Davidson from Saturday Night Live. He was like interviewing people. They're allowed to swear. He's like, "I don't even know what the fuck just went on." They're swearing so much, and it's uncensored pay-per-view. With commentary, people can swear. Snoop Dogg can say whatever he wants. Well, there's nothing quite like that. And tell me another sporting event where the people just swore their asses off. I watched the Bellator show. Nobody swore. UFC, I know they want to keep it professional. You have all the commentators that want to swear and speak casually. But, this makes it entertaining. You got, like, entertaining performances. You have some hip-hop performances that you would never see at the Grammys. At this event, it's like an edgy version of like sports / entertainment, but it's real. You got celebrities. You got like Frank Mir, a former MMA fighter who fought a boxer. Jake Paul said he's not sure who's next, but the billionaire who won wants Jake Paul. Everyone wants Jake Paul. It's a money fight. I think Jake Paul can beat Conor McGregor in a boxing match. Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather in 2017 and did not look spectacular. People probably think I'm an idiot or a conspiracy theorist for suggesting that it was staged. But right after the fight, Conor and Floyd Mayweather were hugging it out. I think it might have been staged, that Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather match. I never really watched like all Floyd Mayweather's early boxing matches, but the ones I saw him in, the Manny Pacquiao one, the Conor McGregor one, they all look like shit, man. This Floyd Mayweather, he's supposedly one of the greatest boxers. I watched him fight. His last few fights were like decision wins, man. It's similar to like John Jones's MMA career. Like, John Jones was kind of like, he finished people early on in his career, but then later on he just won by decision repeatedly, and it's not spectacular. They're not fun to watch. They're just dominance, but it's not a spectacular finish. Like, Khabib Nurmagomedov's last 3 fights were finishes. He basically took out Conor McGregor, Justin Gaethje, and Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier is unstoppable right now, and he lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov over the past like 4 or 5 years. So that's the real champion. I don't want Khabib to come back to risk that the legendary undefeated streak that he had. No, it's very rare for MMA fighters to retire undefeated, and Habib has it. But yeah, Jake Paul feels boxing is more of an art. There's a stylistic to it. Like when Ben Askren got knocked down, the referee told him to get up, and then he told him to walk towards him. And Ben Askren kind of stumbled on his feet, and then the ref, who's like 60, 70 years old, just caught off the fight. And so the fight's over. Whereas in MMA, if they're standing up and they're still kind of fighting back, they'll let it go on. Mark Goddard, an MMA, a UFC referee, actually tweeted that he felt the referee did the right decision by ending the fight because there's no need to have continuous unnecessary punishment. If you watch some of UFC fights, you see people getting beat up, right? And they're beat up for a very long time, and the ref is not even stopping it. And that's what makes UFC and MMA so barbaric and violent sometimes, In boxing, if someone gets knocked down, you cannot just pummel the opponent. They have like a 10-second count to get up, and the ref makes a decision whether the boxer is completely out or not. MMA, once you knock them down, you can keep hitting them until they're completely out. It's pretty easy to get knocked out in MMA. I guess boxing is more of an art form, I guess. UFC is so unpredictable. You can use your elbows, your knees, and the gloves are much smaller. I'm surprised Ben Askren just got knocked out like that, man. I mean, Jake Paul's punches must be really hard. He knocked out Nate Robinson 3 times, I believe, because that ref never stopped the fight. He should have back in November. But yeah, what a huge fight. I guess I should talk about the UFC as well. UFC today, I mean, one of the fights was canceled. Jeremy Stevens pushed Drakkar Klose, and that injured him. I don't know why he pushed him, to be honest with you. That guy was basically 5-2 in the UFC, all decision wins, never knocked anyone out. He got pushed by Jeremy Stevens. I don't know what the bad blood was, but they ended up scrapping the fight because of that. Let's look at Jeremy Stevens' record. Jeremy Stevens is on a skid, man. Last 5 fights, he lost 4 of them. One no contest due to an accidental eye poke that Stevens received. But he hasn't won a fight in over 3 years, this guy. Yeah, so it's kind of unfortunate, to be honest with you. Yeah, that this guy never got to fight, but man, he's not doing too well. Whoa, this Jeremy Stevens guy's been in the UFC since 2007. It's unbelievable. Since the age of 20, he's been in the UFC and still going strong. In the UFC, this guy is... Well, he started at 12-1 going into the UFC. So he's about 16 wins. I think 15 wins and 17 losses. Which is not great, but it's still okay, I think. But yeah, let me go over the UFC event that happened today. It was headlined by Robert Whitaker and Kevin Gastelum. Basically 5 rounds of Robert Whitaker throwing a lot of punches on Kevin Gastelum and, getting the best of him, but not finishing, but still dominating enough to get the win. So Robert Whitaker is basically like 12-1. The only loss being losing the middleweight belt to Israel Adesanya. Right now, they're trying to find out who Israel Adesanya should face right now. And Marvin Vettori, who beat Kevin Holland was it last week? Yeah, like a week or 2 ago. He wanted to fight Israel Adesanya. In fact, Marvin Vettori wore a nice suit, was sitting in the audience watching the fight. And, most analysts feel Robert Whitaker has earned the title shot for the rematch against Israel Adesanya. He got knocked out by Israel Adesanya to lose. But, Robert Whitaker kind of didn't really want to fight Israel Adesanya as of last year. Even though he beat Darren Till, beat Jared Cannonier in October. He said he wanted to take Christmas off. April, he was scheduled to fight Paulo Costa, but he ended up fighting Kelvin Gastelum and won again. This guy's record is unbelievable. Still 30 years old. Since 2014, and 7 years in the UFC, he is 9-1, which is incredible, an incredible record right now. Israel Adesanya is probably going to fight this guy. I feel Derek Brunson and Derek Brunson and Marvin Vettori should fight for the #1 contendership. But let me talk about this week's UFC event. Man, it was absolutely boring. The first fight, some guy named Tony Gravely. He knocked out his opponent. Yeah, and got a TKO victory. He got a bonus for that knockout. Very good knockout. And then after that, it was a decision with this guy. And then Gerard Mearshart did a good technical submission win in the first round. And then after that fight, it was 4 straight split decisions. So just going the distance, a full 5-minute rounds, 3 5-minute rounds. One of the fights was cut short because of a kick to the groin, but he still judged it for that guy. The guy who got kicked in the groin ended up winning. But yeah, Brett Okamoto noted that this was the first time there were 4 straight split decision wins. So it wasn't a clear winner. Andrei Arlovsky, who was the champion like 20 years ago or something in the UFC, still going strong, age 42. Kind of barely won. He won 2 of the rounds against up-and-comer Chase Sherman, and is now he said he did an interview that he wanted to fight for a few more years. He's pretty active, man. Last year he fought twice. 2019 he fought 3 times. 2018 he fought 4 times, but he's losing and winning. He's 31-20. He's lost a lot in the UFC, actually. He left the UFC. Wow. In his early years at the UFC, let's go over his record. Early years from 2000, the year 2000, you heard me, until 2008, he was basically 10-4 for that chunk. Then he fought for other promotions and then went back to the UFC after a number of wins, after like 11 more wins. So it's 10-4. That's the only count his UFC record. 10-4. So 10-4, right? So let's take a look here. 10-4. So he's now 20 and 14. So 20 wins, 14 losses in the UFC, which is not that great, but yeah, that's about it. Yeah, after that, yeah, basically a bunch of decisions. The entire main card were all decision, 2 split decisions, 3 unanimous decisions. Yeah, and the undercard, the preliminary card, had 2 finishes. The rest were decisions, man. It was I think this could have been one of the worst shows UFC has put out in a while. Last week on ABC, I think Dana White was not happy with the main event with Vettori and Holland. It wasn't as exciting as the first ABC event that had Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar. That was super exciting on network TV in the afternoon. Yeah, no spectators for the fight today, but next week, UFC 261 is going to be the first event. Jacksonville, Florida, sold-out crowd. Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal. 2 women's title matches. Uriah Hall versus Chris Weidman. Both of these guys defeated Anderson Silva. Anthony Smith versus a guy named Jimmy Crute, who people are really starting to put over right now. He's kind of a new guy. Let's look at his record in the UFC. He's 5-1 in the UFC. So we'll see. But two finishes last year. So yeah, the rest of the card I don't know too well. There's a guy named Tristan Connolly who had a good fight a couple years ago. I don't really know anyone else from the undercard. But yeah, it should be a good fight. Everyone wants to see what happens with Kamaru Usman and Masvidal, and it could be Masvidal's last chance for a title shot. If he doesn't win this one, then it's kind of over. Yeah, so let me just go on to other news. I took some notes. Basically, Dan Hooker did an interview. Dan Hooker, as you may not know, he's a lightweight that lost to Dustin Poirier last year, lost to Michael Chandler in Michael Chandler's debut in the UFC, being knocked out. He said everyone's looking for the Conor McGregor fight. You know, Dan Hooker said he's not in the position to request the Conor McGregor fight because, you know, he's coming off 2 losses. He said Conor changes your life. He was close. He said Gaethje was close to fighting Conor McGregor, but Gaethje made a tweet saying that Conor is a shit human being, shit husband, shit father, And by saying that, no one's gonna fight. Right? I mean, Conor McGregor doesn't have to grant you that fight. By granting you a fight, he will give you $1 million and change your life forever. So why should he offer Gaethje that? He liked Dustin Poirier, right? But Dustin Poirier asked for money. But Dustin Poirier kind of apologized after this drama. There was some drama about a charity. Yeah, that Conor McGregor did not give $500,000 to Dustin Poirier's charity. So Dustin made that public, and Conor got pissed off. He said he doesn't know where the funds are going. He's not going to donate it if he doesn't know. But then Conor's manager said that Conor will go through. He will pay it, but we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think Conor's going to pay it. Conor lost the fight in January, and he felt he would feel like a sucker for donating $500,000. If Conor wants to get under Dustin's skin, he should donate $500,000 to a charity of his choice that isn't Dustin's foundation. I'm not a big fan when a person owns a foundation. I'm sure their intentions are good. They're going to donate. They're going to help out other people, but they get the money. Who knows if they'll get $10,000 or $20,000 for their own personal situations, So I'm not a big fan when someone claims to have a foundation because it's still their money. They would do what they want with the money they get donated to. You can't trust it altogether. Who knows if you can trust giving money to charities too? How do we know all the money is going to be done for the right thing? It's tough. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira confirmed for September 4th. Glover is 41 years old, 6-fight win streak. He's going to fight Jan Blachowicz. He waited for Israel Adesanya, who lost back in March. Jan is ready to take on Glover. Jan Blachowicz even said he's ready to take on John Jones, who he felt John Jones ran away from the light heavyweight division. John Jones kind of tweeted back, just focus on your own. Focus on defending your belts. John Jones, I don't think he's going to fight Ngannou. Dana White is right by saying that John Jones does not want to fight. He wants more money. He's not interested in fighting. So they're going to move on. They're going to try and get Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. Kamaru Usman revealed on an interview that Conor McGregor was bragging that he won the featherweight title, he won the lightweight title, and at one point he wanted the welterweight title, which Kamaru Usman held. Kamaru Usman said, sure, come on, let's fight. And then after he made that request, Conor was quiet. That means Conor didn't want to fight. Conor would probably lose to Kamaru Usman. By the way, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3, confirmed July 10th. Tickets went on sale and was sold out literally in seconds. Unbelievable. So yeah, UFC is selling out big arenas. I watched Bellator, and they had some pretty good fights actually. Man, there was a guy. I don't remember the names, man. I think it was Phil Davis versus some light heavyweight champion. Forget his name, Nemrov or something. Nemkov was his name. That was a very good fight because it was part 2. And yeah, I think Nemkov won. He will fight Bader. I forgot that guy's first name. Darth Bader. In a few weeks, I believe. Bellator's production is impressive. They play music during the intermissions of the fights. And they have entrances with a big screens. And afterwards, they do interviews with the winner inside the ring with some sort of a microphone stick, and then a Big John McCarthy is like within social distance away interviewing him. It was very interesting for this time. Currently, there's no crowd, and then afterwards, Bader went into the ring and did a face-off right after the guy's fight. So it's very interesting in how they set up like upcoming fights by doing that. Very professional. You have commentary. They don't cuss like the Jake Paul Triller fight. The Triller event looked pretty good too, man. I mean, the production was great. And, I love the fact that they can just swear, say whatever they want. I mean, the way Snoop Dogg talks, I mean, it's not professional, but it's fun. It's for the average guy. The average guy doesn't talk like a professional newscaster or professional commentator. They say whatever the hell they want. He's for those people. And to me, it was entertaining, but it's not for anyone, not for everyone. All right. So Yeah, Pete Davidson, the comedian, actually said he lost money on the Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson fight because Pete Davidson bet against Jake Paul. Davidson did an interview with Ben Askren and says he wanted Ben Askren to kick Jake Paul's ass because no one likes Jake Paul. Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to get today. It was such huge news to see Jake Paul win this fight, man. He's 3-0. Dylan Dennis, Conor McGregor's bum buddy or training partner, who is 2-0 in Bellator. He said he challenged Jake Paul to a fight. Jake Paul wanted to fight him before, but Dylan Dennis kind of chickened out. He didn't want to do it, but now he's putting out a tweet saying he will accept. I doubt he's serious. He always makes ridiculous tweets where he doesn't live up to it. So let's see what happens, man. Like what a great day. But UFC could be one of the slowest events of the year, second to the Gane Rosenstrike event in February. At least the Gastelum Whitaker fight was interesting, but it was on exactly the same time as the Jake Paul boxing fight, believe it or not. So lots of stuff going on. Did you know that Logan Paul was scheduled to fight Floyd Mayweather? Logan Paul is 0-1. I'd rather see Floyd Mayweather fight Jake Paul, but I think Floyd Mayweather, he would script a fight. He would stage a fight in order to win money. I don't even believe Floyd Mayweather is a good champion, to be honest with you. People, of course, boxing purists would disagree with me on that. From what I saw of him, I was not impressed. I just saw, of course, people will say, oh, he's great, but I just don't buy it, man. Yeah, Jake Paul event happened. It was Whitaker versus Gastelum today, and I wasn't looking forward to it. Next week, I'm looking forward to Usman versus Masvidal too. Let's see what happens. Peace out, everybody.